right, you guys. Today's conversation is super special. I feel like I am sharing one of the most precious people with you and most important parts of this story. The singular person who knows Awake as deeply, thoroughly, and intimately as I do. I am bringing you today a conversation with my editor, Lauren Wein. And she's not just my editor. She has been my collaborator. She was my sounding board. She was my counselor all along the way. She was my advisor, my mentor, my guide. She's got an incredible gift. Her editing skills are so profound, and she's helped so many authors write the best version of their story, whatever it is. And that certainly includes me. With Awake, she sat with me through every draft, every change, every doubt, every fear, every moment of this story, of the writing of this story. She has had her fingerprint on. It wouldn't exist in the way that it exists without her. And so I can't wait for you to hear her today. God, this conversation is so great. Anybody who's interested at all in writing, you're going to also find this interesting, because we get into the sauce a little bit. Like, what's it like behind the curtain? So you're going to hear some like shop talk a little bit, but also we're going to talk about what it was like to have this partnership together. And so I'm delighted to welcome my brilliant editor and, of course, now my forever friend, Lauren, to the show. Hello. I'm so delighted to put you on this show with me. You're normally behind the scenes. That's the kind of nature of your work. And I'm like, how about you get yourself on video and let's put this podcast out to 100,000 people? And you said yes. Thank you.
Anything for you, Jen Hatmaker.
I've already told everybody who you are.
Okay.
What your deal is, your incredible credentials. It is fun. I've saved it for this moment when I'm with you, but we should tell our origin story, like how we met. I'd like to hear it from you.
Okay, it's embarrassing, but
it's not.
Okay, so I will retell the story. Back in 2013. I have said this before. I was in a dark night of the soul. I had 3 small kids, young kids. I had a new job. I had a husband who worked overnight and was never home. It was a hard time. I felt like everything was falling apart and I couldn't do anything right. And my sister sent me one night. She said, you have to read this. You will love it. And it was a piece that you had written about, by March, all parents have lost the will to live, that piece. That's right. And I read it and I literally laughed so hard. I cried and I had restored faith that like, I am not alone. We are all falling apart. Nobody can do this, but we can all do it. And It just kind of it put everything in order. And I wrote back to my sister and I said, oh my God, this is the funniest thing this is amazing. She's amazing. I should tell her to write a book. The hubris of me saying I should tell her, like command this person to write a book. And my sister said, you totally should. People love that stuff. And it was just, and then I obviously looked you up and realized you had written all these bestsellers and I was the one living in a cave and I felt really stupid and decided to, whatever, we will never cross paths, but I will continue to follow this person anywhere. Yeah. And I did. And I just kept, and I'm not like a person who reads, I didn't read blogs. I didn't follow people. It just wasn't part of my life. but I absolutely loved everything you had to say about everything. And honestly, when things got hard for you, I like
Yeah.
tuned in and I heard a frequency that was really that really resonated, and I just felt you struggling through things in a very real way. And I, as you know, I would kind of send you DMs and whatever, Instagram messages, and I think they probably went into the void. But by the time Margaret Riley King, your amazing agent, reached out to me and said, "Hey, so I have a new client and she's writing a memoir. Her name is Jen Hatmaker." And I like fell off my chair and said, "Margaret, I have been waiting for this moment for more than a decade. And I am not going to let it pass me by, even though everybody else wanted this book too." I was like, this will be my book. I became competitive in a way that I'm not. So anyway, and then we met.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Here's what I remember. So, Margaret, I had changed to Margaret. This is the first book she has represented for me, even though she has been waiting in the wings also for 7 years.
Yes.
She played the long game.
Yes.
And it worked. And so this was a whole new day for me. And I was going to be out of any sort of Christian imprint, even under, one of the big publishers. This was going to be new team, new different guardrails, which to say none, and knew everything, like a new way of writing, a new kind of book, a new level of permission.
Yes.
Everything about this experience is not old hat to me. This was a new iteration of publishing for me. And so when Margaret put out the proposal and we just started going, let's see what happens. And then, there was a response. And so we knew, like, okay, we're going to have to sort through this interest, because there was a lot of interest. So we went to New York City, Margaret and I we set up, I don't even know if I've told my community this story. I can't remember, but we set up 2 days worth of meetings. We had 10 imprints to work with. And for anybody who's like, what is she talking about, an imprint? There are the big publishing houses. What are there, 5?
Yeah.
And then there's plenty of others. I'm just saying there's the kind of the big 5. But under each one of them, they have divisions, essentially. So imprints. So anyway, she just said, we're gonna take 10 meetings in 2 days, and we posted up at Hotel Chelsea.
Chelsea Hotel. That's right.
Chelsea Hotel. That's right. And really, we had meetings like on the hour, every hour. It was bonkers. You were my first.
That is insane.
And when, she's kind of coaching me through, here's who's coming in, here's who's going to be with them, here's what they've published, here are whatever. And when you and Jofi were about to come in, the 2 of you.
Yeah.
And just for everybody listening, there were some teams that came in with 8 people.
Yeah.
Like, here's literally everybody on staff. Like, this is everybody on payroll, essentially. We brought the whole crew. And so you and Jofi came in, and I remember Margaret saying, I'm really excited for you to meet Lauren, because she is such an exceptional editor. And what she specifically said about you is, Lauren has the best taste.
That's so nice.
And like, what that signaled to my brain is that you are in literature. You are in the business of good books. Like, not just a money grab or like a shitty celebrity adjacent book that was garbage writing, whatever. Like, you have good taste, and you are committed to putting like high quality books out in the world. I just remembered it zinged my brain, because I knew I needed somebody who was elegant to help me get this book right. I knew it. I didn't want somebody who just went, she's got a lot of followers. or she'll bring a lot of book buyers to the table. We don't really care what she says.
Right.
Like, it'll be good enough, to sell through. And then you sat there and you handed me all those printouts, like that you just printed out on your stalker printouts that you printed on a printer and put in a little
little staple folder,
folder. Here is all the things I have said to you or about you for the last decade.
I know.
And I was like, this is it. This is it. And I there is no way for me to overemphasize this, Lauren. I want to go back to that me and kiss myself on the mouth for making the right decision. It was overwhelming to meet with 10 publishers in 2 days, and everybody had big ideas and everybody had a lot of enthusiasm, and it wasn't like somebody came in like I didn't want to be here, that everybody was like up high.
Yeah.
And I made the perfect decision to come do this book with you, an avid reader. I just cannot ever, ever, ever emphasize it enough.
I don't even know what to say about that. I am totally speechless. I actually barely thought we had a chance, to be honest, because
so
I really didn't. There was a part of me that was like, there is no way she's going with us. But here we are. I mean,
we called you or texted you or whatever to tell you, after auction was finished, and we're like, we've made our decision. I think you were in London.
I know.
Or you were going to London.
I was about to go to London. Yeah, I know.
You're like, I can't even respond to this.
I said, usually I write very long, but like right now I have no words. I am like,
that's literally what you said. Like I'm stunned. More later.
My God. I just really, and I am still stunned, and I am still actually like, I still feel like this has been the most blessed experience, just every single step of it, even from the beginning when we couldn't figure out how to like send each other attachments.
Oh my gosh.
Because we're both stuck in like 1940. But anyway.
Absolutely stuck there. The two of us.
We
so
figured
we were like,
it out.
Who can help us?
We're like,
I'm like, do you have a helper?
Do you have
like,
Scrivener? I'm like, what's Scrivener? You're like, do you have this? No.
Yeah.
Do you have, how about Microsoft Word?
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
We figured it out.
And Lauren, there was one point you were like, I think I'm just, tell me if I'm getting this wrong. I'm going to print out your submitted manuscript. I'm going to write my notes in the margin, and then I can
mail them back.
Scan those handwritten notes in the margin to you.
Yes.
And then you can put it was
not
so hilarious.
It was really not.
But
not
I think
ideal.
this book
but we got there.
We got there. We got there. We didn't get there by being technologically savvy.
No.
But we got there.
Yes.
And you helped make this book so much better. Like, you found all the weak spots. You found them with this like radar that you have. Even like the smallest little things where you're like, this needs a bridge. This has too many words. This sentence needs to just go. Let it stand. Stop telling the reader what to think. And I was like, oh God, this is why we are in this together. You made it so much better.
That means so much to me, but also what I realized is that one of the things that your book is about, which is about like shifting trusting yourself and trusting your body. I feel like that is how I edit, honestly. I feel it. It's like a tuning fork. And like, I sense when something is like, we need more, we need less. It's physical. And it's like you, I'm also somebody who would like rather disavow my body, and I just am like a brain running around. But it really, I felt that reading your book, first of all, there weren't that many things to do. It was an incredible piece of work when you wrote to me and said, here's my shit show or something. And I wrote back like, I'm sorry, this is like basically one of the most polished, nearly perfect things I've ever read, but so much for your shit show. Anyway.
you did say that, but then the places where you came in and
it's subtle.
Challenged me, pushed me. It was subtle, but though they mattered. Like looking at those edits that you suggested and put in the manuscript, to use the word that I already used on you once, it made it more elegant. My fatal flaw as a writer, as a communicator in general, because this translates to being a speaker too, is if I err on either side, I am a scotch too much. Just a scotch. I just go 5 degrees past appropriate. 5 degrees. But that 5 degrees is what feels hyperbolic.
Right.
And it was that 5 degrees that you said, let's pull this back down.
To 3 degrees.
And let's go to 3 degrees.
Right.
And let's take out some of that, the bigness of some of the language you're choosing, the words you're using, the exaggerated nature of what you are saying. Let's say it in a way that's a little bit more elegant. And your tuning fork is so bizarre to find those spots. You're good at it.
But I have to say, the fact I needed you to go to 5s to get you to 3, because most people are afraid to go to 3. So they stay at like 0, and it's dull. So I honestly, what drew me to you from the beginning was your willingness and ability to kind of like go to the edge and jump off it. And so sometimes we need to like reel you in a little bit, very little bit. Yeah. But honestly, it's most people don't go there. And that's why your voice is so refreshing, truly.
It's so interesting for me to talk to editors. Your skill set is so specific.
I know, it's so weird.
It's such a honed skill. When did you know? At what point did you know, not only am I good at this, but I want to do this. I like this. I like taking somebody else's thing and like tightening it up to its best version.
I think I only knew I was good at it when writers that I admired so much told me I was helpful to them. I don't think I thought I was good at it until I was told I was good at it by people I thought like were gods, you know? And so if they were going to give me that compliment, then I'm going to take it. But it's really a matter of also, it's a matter of like channeling the writer, being inside the writer's head, but also having a distance. Like I feel like I'm trying to get inside your head, but also be me at the same time, so that I can offer that like tiny constructive criticism that is hard to access if you're the creator. Like I can't be the creator, but I can get close to you and just kind of fine tune it a little bit. But yeah, I think I only understood it when other people told me I could do it, because that's how some people work. Yeah.
That is how some people, you're right. Like somebody has to hold up a mirror in order for us to see.
There are examples in Awake of, when I was like looking back through the book, there are examples in this book where people did that for you. And that, I think that really helped you too in your awareness of who you were and who you could be. Right.
Oh my God. That is so true. Like, my dad comes to mind.
Yes. Yep.
That even though it's so tricky because, I mean, you've been through this whole story with me, but it's such a weird needle to thread because I was raised in a sort of cultural environment, my like religious cultural environment that really like hit hard in my psyche and did some damage, and I've had to undo. But at the same time, it was so weird because my home, my family, my parents were not dogmatic like that.
Right.
So I didn't have this like home environment that was as rigid and fear and shame based as my church environment. And so I'm so grateful for that, because my dad, even though he was like deeply a part of that world, like literally on staff,
right,
but different from all those other pastors,
right,
was a foil for it constantly.
Totally.
Because, I mean, here he's got 3 daughters, and we are being raised in a Southern Baptist environment where women have no authority, and the men are in charge of everything. And he's got 3 daughters, and he is gassing us up as if every one of us is destined to be the president of the United States. You know, like he just thinks we're the best things ever. And he blew through the gender limitations in his own environment to respect women, to elevate women, to honor their gifts. And I'm watching that the whole time going, my own dad breaks these norms and these rules of this. So he held up a mirror to me.
Right.
That's a very long way
Right,
of coming
right,
back to
right.
what you just said.
Yes, yes.
Which is saying, this is what I see in you.
Yes.
This is what I see you're capable of. And my dad's voice mattered more, ultimately.
And there's, I mean, your dad actually stands out as such a tremendous character throughout this book. I know he's not a character, he's a person. But
Yes.
I was also thinking of, you have a teacher who, after you learn that poem, your teacher says, words matter, Jen, and you have a gift.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh my God. Mrs. Palmer.
Mrs.
And
Palmer.
it's so true how, I mean, hell, I was 16 years old when she said that to my face.
Yeah.
Words matter. You have a gift for words, so use it.
Just got the chills.
And I am 51 years old still talking about that.
I mean, you know what?
It matters.
I listen, I think I had a similar experience in my life. Like and then the woman, I think her name was Lauren. All great people are named Lauren.
That's
in your
right.
life. Who said
That's right.
said to you, you have a power, right? When you first taught when you were first can you retell that story?
Oh my God. For her, this was probably a throwaway sentence.
Totally.
Like there is a 0% chance she remembers ever.
Yep.
That did not impact her the way
Right.
it impacted me. And
Right.
This was super, super early in the very earliest stages of me going, I might have something to say and the gifts to say it. Like I hadn't written a book yet. Like I that was pre any of this, but
Right.
it was this dawning awareness of like what was bringing me to life, what was
Yes.
making me feel energized, which was leading and teaching women and hosting these like conversations that are so relevant to all of us. And so, I mean, at the bare beginning of that, this girl I have never seen before, I'd never even met her. Her name is Lauren. And she comes into our little group that I had been sort of shepherding along. I'm talking like in a living room. I don't get
Right,
the idea
right,
like
right.
I'm on a stage, like in a
Right.
little living room. And she
Yeah.
joins us for a night and just sends me this email. This is before we had phones. We weren't millionaires. Like none of us had phones back then. We barely had email.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
email
I
was
know.
dial up.
Yeah.
But she sends me this email through to my AOL email address, which I still use. And she just said, it was so short. She was just like, I really like you. And she said, you're funny and smart and you have a power about you. And I mean, that's really all she said. It was that short. It was just like, she dashed it off. I'm sure of it. You could have blown me over with a feather. Something about it, like her saying that to me, I don't know you, but this is what I see in you. Smart, funny, powerful. I'm like, what? Like the mirror, that was a mirror. Again, I still am talking about it.
But again, we need that. Sometimes we need to be, you also talk about how at one point you say in the war of like me versus me, nobody wins, because that you're very hard on yourself. You have a very, very critical inner voice. And probably part of that came from growing up in, a purity culture and patriarchal society and all of that. And part of it, I don't know, who knows? It could just be how you're wired, right?
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I think I have that too for all of the same, for very similar reasons. But when you hear somebody tell you something that you didn't, like maybe you sensed about yourself, but you didn't quite know, it's not, it ignites something, or it just confirms something that maybe you sensed was there, but the voice was too small because the other voices were too louder.
So
were louder.
Who was it? Who said something to you that stuck in your craw
I mean,
that you're still thinking about?
I am just thinking, like, I had a sixth grade teacher who gave me a journal at the end of the year, and she said also something like, you have a gift for words and never lose your interest in everything. And I thought, oh, do I have an interest in everything?
What a good thing to hear.
Maybe I do. And I think ever since I've become an editor, and I work on lots of different books in all different categories. And I think maybe I do have an interest in everything. Maybe I am kind of, not everything, but it gave me an idea about myself that I didn't have before. And it validated something that I didn't know,
That is such a great way to put it. Because she didn't speak it into existence. No. You were already like that. Right. But she gave you the idea about your own self.
Exactly.
Who's self-aware in 6th grade?
No, right.
That is not something we have the capacity to even grasp.
Right.
Is self-awareness. When these teachers, like a lot of teachers listen to this show.
Yeah.
Teachers, heads up. Here are me and Lauren telling you
about our middle
from
school
the future.
Yes.
These little sentences you say into your students' ears about their gifts, she praised your curiosity. What a beautiful thing to notice about you, that you were curious and interested in the world.
Yes.
And here you are, literally fulfilling that as your career. I'm just saying, teachers, you waste no words when you tell your students something beautiful that you see about them. Those are not wasted.
That's totally true. That's really right.
I know. Anyway, thank you for letting me just string this along.
No.
Like I have 1,000 other questions. And here's another thing I would love to hear you talk about.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned this earlier, I want people to kind of hear the scope of your work. Can you talk about some of the books that you have worked on that meant a lot to you, that something that writer then spoke into your life, that you went, wow, whatever it is, like, again, you have run such a gamut of genre, of style, of type, like,
that I have like instantly forgotten every book I've ever worked on now that you've just asked me that, but I'm sure I can remember some of them.
This is exactly when people are like, what are you reading right now that you love? And I'm like, I've never read a book in my life.
I mean, I don't read. I
literally have never finished it.
I know.
I'm illiterate. That's right. I can't. I don't know.
Totally how I feel right now. I'll just mention a few, and then we're going to actually have to talk about your book, because that is
we kind of are already.
I know we
kind of are.
I know.
Yes.
So I worked on a book called Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb, which was I think a very important book in terms of showing people what therapy can do, and why it doesn't have to be scary, and how it can be transformative. But it's a brilliant, I think, and incredible book.
I put that book in my book club, in the Hatmaker book club.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Of course you do.
I know.
Of course you know.
But I know I wasn't thinking of that when I said it. But yeah, I mean, so I think that was one of them.
Oh, so good. Such a good book.
Really. And there's also a memoir called Wild Game by Adrienne Brodeur that I think is just one of the most incredible account. I think it's actually a perfect book. It's an account of a very, very extreme mother-daughter relationship that is shocking, but beautiful, just incredibly beautiful.
Right now.
It's so
Wild
good.
Game.
Wild Game. And God, so many more. I did another, I don't know why these are all memoirs, but this memoir called Becoming Duchess Goldblatt, which is very hard to talk about because it's, but this was a book, actually, this was one of those books that I was, again, having like a dark night of the soul, and working with this person on her book, and everything that the book was about kind of brought me back to myself. Some of these books bring me back to myself, I have to say. I have like a selfish vested interest in them, because whatever is being worked through in the book is actually helping me work through something too. Totally. I think it's like therapists.
You're still a person.
Right? It's like transference and countertransference. It's like the therapist is part of the, they get helped too. Anyway, there's many more. Yeah. But
so many
they're all
more.
eluding me.
Like, you have put your hand to so many incredible books in this world, and
well, I think I can come up with a whole list.
The seed of it.
Yeah,
of course you can. Like,
I'll type it out later.
You should do that.
I'll send you a list.
This, podcast.
Okay, I will send you a list.
Include
of
a list
things
of your
that I recommend.
Your specific recommendations.
I will.
You're just doing what you're meant to do in the world. You really are.
In my best days, I feel that way.
I mean, Same.
Yeah, I know.
Don't ask us on our bad days.
Right. No. No.
On bad days, I'm like, why am I a writer? I hate books. I hate literature. I hate readers. I hate reading.
I know.
Like, don't catch us on a dark day.
No.
Because we don't mean it. We're just tired.
Right. And that happens to everybody, you know? And
it does.
And I think it's cyclical, and then you come back to it. You have it, like, it's just how it is. But I think people really want to hear about you in the book. So I think we should. Do you think we should just get to it?
Yeah, let's ask a couple of questions in here.
will.
Like, people do like to see behind the curtain. Like, tell us how the sausage is made here a little.
So that's what I want to talk about, really. Like, So we talked about how, you know, I came to be the publisher of the book, but then when you submitted, I mean, I'm curious how you felt like when you yielded the pages to me. Like, what was your feeling? Like, did you feel like, wow, I feel really raw and vulnerable and I put that all out there? Or did you feel like, I don't know, how did it feel to because you're alone with it for a long time, or you know, with your trusted circle or whatever, and then you put it out there. It's really a vulnerable thing to do, especially with this situation. I mean, we'll get to the writing of it in a minute, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's such a good question, of course, that you alone would kind of know how to ask, because at the moment of submission, there's two people, me and you. Mm-hmm. That's it. We don't have the people in it yet. Like, it's not the sales team yet. We're not talking about, you know, Ilana and the publicist yet. It is me and you, the only people occupying that moment in time. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I mean, you're making me think of this. I'm like going into my body to remember it. Because I had never written like this before. I mean, in format.
Yeah.
I had never written in vignettes.
Right.
I had never written in present tense, no matter when the thing happened.
Right.
So, I mean, even if it was a 35-year-old memory, I wrote it in present tense.
Right.
So the tense, I had never held so much back in terms of drawing conclusions about everything. I never really just laid a thing on the page and been like, I'm not going to
tell you how to think about this.
I'm not going to tell you what I think about this. I'm not going to tell you what I learned from it. I'm just going to tell you what happened. Right. So because all of that was so unfamiliar to me, I remember thinking when I sent it to you, like, this is genuine. I have no idea if this has worked. I don't know if this is working. I don't know if this is going to deliver the story right. I don't know if you're going to receive it not just as an editor, but as a reader in the way that I meant for it to go. I just had no idea, because I've all of that was new to me. And so I just kind of remember like wanting to bite my nails that you had it. Yeah. Like, my brain was like, she is reading this right now. And forcing myself not to like constantly refresh my emails just to see if you had a thought yet. Like, Lauren, I did not know if you were going to come back and be like, we need to restructure this.
Right.
And you could have been like, this isn't doing the thing. And so I was really nervous when I sent it into you.
I mean, it's so funny because from the beginning, I thought your structure was brilliant. The end, the middle, the beginning, which I mean is there from the get-go. And I mean, I'd love to hear how you actually came up with that. But that was there from the get-go, and it just was talk about elegant. It was such an elegant way to encompass the movement of the emotional movement of your story. It just was, it's all right there. Like this, everything falls apart. You start at the hardest, you start in the ER, as I've heard you say, which is so amazing. Then you take us through everything else, and then it's the beginning. It's like the life that starts afterwards, and
Yeah.
it's just baked in. This hopefulness is just baked into the whole thing. But let's talk. I mean, I really, another thing I've
Wait, I want to give you
Yeah.
credit for something.
What?
Because again, this is like the savvy editorial touch that you have. So yes, I had structured it in 3 big sections, you know, like you just described, the in, the middle, the beginning. In the original manuscript, though, at the very front, in the table of contents, I then listed, you know, every single vignette under each section, like chapters. So, you know, it would have said the end, and then I had the 25
right.
titles of each vignette, and then, you know, turn the page. And you were the one who came back and said, I don't think that we list every vignette title in the table of contents. I think we just go the end, the middle, the beginning.
Right.
Acknowledgements.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, elegant.
Yeah. That
Like,
was such a,
we're not even going to get muddied down into
right.
all that. We're just going to leave it with that big sweeping structure.
yes.
Without even like punching out the pieces underneath. That was your edit.
Wow.
And it was a good one.
It
was a really good one.
I just wanted to put emphasis on that, on those 3 things, because I just think it really organizes the whole thing in such a beautiful way. And I want to give credit to Margaret for something, because it's something that even before I saw your proposal, I kind of knew you were writing a book because I follow you, and you had posted something about saying that you were working on something, and that your agent had said, don't leave anything for the swim home. And I thought, wow, this proposal is going to be amazing. It didn't occur to me that I would see it or that I could publish it, but I just knew it was going to be amazing. But so that was, I had never heard that advice, but that was really good advice. Like,
oh my gosh, Lauren. I mean, I pinned that to the board and went, that is my guide.
Yeah.
That is my guide. And there was the temptation to save something for the swim home was high.
And,
like,
yeah. What do you, how do you interpret the swim home? Even like, I kind of understand it, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think this is how I interpreted it. My thought was, if I write in a way that is prioritizing self-preservation, so that no matter what happens, I will put this book out, but I have held back enough that I will mitigate the possibility of criticism. I will mitigate the possibility of misunderstanding. I will shrink the truth into something that's a little bit less biting, a little bit more manageable, a little bit less disruptive, so that no matter what happens, I won't be out in the middle of the ocean without a life preserver when this thing hits. I will have saved myself a little bit. I will have protected the vulnerability and the exposure so much that I'd already gotten myself back to shore. And so to me, it came down to which toggle am I going to go? Am I going to be risk averse or am I going to be risk tolerant? Which way is it going to go? And saving nothing for the swim home meant I had to just get in bed with risk. We had to get married and get in bed together and swim our asses out to the middle of the ocean where we stayed. And so that felt terrifying.
I think you just totally nailed it. And it's funny because when we were talking about the fact that sometimes you go to 5 and I dialed you back to 3, like sometimes going to 5 with the humor is like a defense. It's like, look, I'm
absolutely.
So funny. Don't look at what's real. But this was going there in a truthful, honest, just it was going there with the humor, and it was going there with the truth at the same time.
Yeah.
You're not hiding behind humor. It's serving, it has to serve you. And it does.
Yes.
You figured out a way to do it. Of course, there's that amazing line that I love, which is, I absolutely wanted this book to be funnier, which when you get there, that is just like, that was really a moment where you're like,
Yeah.
you just, I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I kept thinking, I know how to take the worst thing and add enough levity to it that, again, that would have been that saving something for the swim home.
Right.
That would have been releasing the pressure valve
Yes.
enough.
Yes. Right.
So that nobody could take this all too seriously. Like nobody could see that deeply into my story.
Yeah.
Into that level of like grief and dysfunction and recovery. Like, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
And I thought, to be
Right.
honest, as I started writing this, that I would have done that more, which is
Yeah.
why when I got to the end of that
Right.
vignette, which was a really serious one
Yes.
and
Yeah.
like really earnest,
Yeah.
literally my fingers just typed, God, I wanted this to be funnier. Like, I just sat there thinking, what I've done is said something truer than I expected to. And
That's-
I don't have regret. I don't have regret. I'm so grateful that Margaret told me that
yeah.
early on. And I kept going, keep going.
Well, so this is another, I think, really important question, which is, when this book was first announced, it was erroneously referred to as a tell-all, which was upsetting to all of us because that is absolutely not, is the opposite of what this book is. I mean, this book is not a tell-all. It's actually not at all. But what was very important to you was honesty, not telling it all, but being truthful, and respecting other people's privacy. Now that is the hardest line to walk when you're writing your own story, because your own story is not your own story entirely.
Yeah.
So, and I think you have done the most incredible job of that. And I was very attuned to it. Like I really, if you were giving away too much or not giving, I mean, sometimes I felt very conscious the whole time, like,
Yes.
of walking that line in a way that was fair to your reader, fair to yourself, and also fair to the people in your life. How did you pull that off? Because that is truly a nimble thing to have done.
You were helpful. I told you early on that was my biggest fear.
Yeah.
And was overexposure, including details that maybe, while salacious and juicy and a pretty good hook, would ultimately harm our actual life that we live in. These are not things we want the whole world to know.
Right.
But to your point, I also need to be fair to my reader. If I'm unwilling to write if I can't write a memoir that's truthful, don't write one.
Right.
If you're not ready to write it, then don't write it.
Yep.
And so there is something in between.
Yeah.
That's appropriate. You helped me find that. There were several times when I had written something super cryptically.
Yeah.
And you were like, you either need to say more about this or take it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm hinting. I'm hinting at something.
Right.
And that's not fair to the reader. And then there were other times, and you have done this both in the manuscript and also in my personal life as I am managing this story out in the world with a lot of characters in it, as you have said, and people have big feelings about this story being told.
Yeah.
People do. And you have managed in both spaces to say to me, you should say less. Where I want to come in and explain and defend and cite my sources and quote myself. And you're like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. That's not you don't bear that responsibility.
Right.
It's not your job to do. So you sometimes in this exact question, you help me put my foot on the gas, and sometimes you help me put my foot on the brake.
Wow.
And I needed both to get this right.
Yeah. I think you really got it right, honestly. And I mean, even I was just the line where you're talking about your kids. And again, I think that's another place where you are so respectful to them. I do not, I mean, I hope they think that. I really think that. And you say, reader, I will keep most of their story behind the firewall. It was as painful as you think. That one line gives us more than any number of pages giving us details would have given us.
Thank you for that.
So I just...
Thank you.
Yeah.
The day that I finally exhaled around this exact question, this is the only thing that was keeping me up at night.
Yeah.
Was how will this feel to my family? How is this going to feel to the people closest to the story? And that robbed me of sleep for a year. And the day that Sydney, my daughter, who's 25, said, Mom, I've read every word and it's beautiful. And I do not think you have overexposed us in any way. It's like the weight of the world rolled off my shoulders. I put it to bed. Right. That was it. That was the last day that I obsessively asked all my friends and early readers if they thought I had disclosed the right amount into the book. Was I fair? Was I honest? Did I take responsibility? I stopped asking those questions the day that Sydney let me off the hook for that. So
that's incredible. Honestly, really, let me just, I just made all these sorts of notes. I wanted to, the question of, to go back to the structure just for a second, when you talk about how these individual vignettes that, one thing I noticed in kind of looking at it again is that you say, in the opening scene, you say, I've lost the opening scene, which if I'm assuming most people here have read the book, is the ER scene. It's the scene where where everything kind of falls apart. And at the end of that scene, you say, I've lost all sense of time and space. I feel my siblings throw their arms around me, but I am gone. And in the very next scene, which is the next vignette, is Dead Rose. And it opens with, I am a high school freshman attending the first session of True Love Waits at my church. So what's so interesting is that you end that last scene nowhere. You are gone. The time-space continuum, you are swallowed up. You are in the abyss. And in the very next scene, you are located. I am a high school freshman attending the first, there is this incredible immediacy of every single scene. And what I realized about it is just like you said, you don't tell anybody what to think. And the structure it's not a logical structure. Like, why does that scene follow that other scene? But it's totally intuitive. Like, there is something about the way this whole thing is set up. It's just these intuitive moments that build to an argument and a revelation and a change, a transformation, which in my mind, and also the New York Times reviewer, very brilliant, beautiful review, talks about how it's like a reclamation of the body and a reclamation of your own intuitive self. And so I don't know. I don't even know what my question is, except that, do you feel like that is a fair... was that your intention going in, or is that just what the book became?
Thank you for that. I had like the barest idea of that rhythm. And of bringing my reader with me. You know, the small story inside about the divorce, I did in order. So those scenes unfold from July 11th, 2020 forward. But everything else in between it and around it is all over it is sixth grade. It is young adulthood. It is freshman. It is 31. Like those are not linear at all. I had that very half-assed, half-baked
Right.
structure in my head, knowing I didn't exactly know. I didn't have a big grand plan, like this memory I'm going to put here between these two things.
Right.
I did a little bit of that by touch. As I was writing it, I'd get to the end of a scene.
Yeah.
It just kind of get real quiet in my like soul and mind and memories, and just kind of like deeply ask my own intuition, what was a building block of that response or of that feeling, of that moment, like whatever it was, like, where did I get that idea? Where did I get that suggestion?
Right.
And I got really still and started finding those like in the story of my life. You know, we don't just get to where we got accidentally.
Right.
There's so many bricks that built the house.
Yes.
And so for me going, let's figure out what the bricks were, was a real adventure.
Yeah.
When I wrote the proposal, Lauren, like when I was just first developing it, and I knew it was only going to be moments and memories, I think what I listed in the proposal, when I was just thinking, what are some of the memories I'm going to reach for? I think I might have listed 8. That's how rudimentary it was.
Right.
Like Dead Rose, I had. Dead Rose was on the early list of this. That meant something to my story. That was formative.
Right.
But the rest of it came to me as I was writing, as I was sitting there, as I went into my brain and went, tell me something that we remember about this. Some of this I hadn't thought of in years and years years, and it bubbled up. It just bubbled up. And I just thought, oh my God, Miss Palmer. Miss Palmer, when she said that to me. And, you know, like, oh my God, Mr. Berman. That was one of the earliest moments my body knew something that I did not know how to process through my brain. I hadn't thought of that in 20 years.
Right.
So it was kind of a both and to your, I don't know if I even answered your question.
Did you keep journals as a kid? Do you
I kept journals.
Back to do you still what's your journal writing situation?
I know. God, I wish I had those to refer to.
So you didn't. It's not like you looked up in your journal like, oh, what happened?
I didn't have them.
You didn't have access to them.
I had them in my memory.
Right.
Sorry, let me turn that. Hold on. Sorry, I've got a phone coming through, even though I have that on Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that. Okay. But I'll tell you what did serve as a record for me was, and this was one of those times I was grateful yet again that the online community I lead has always been one where one of our shared values is telling each other the stories of our life. Like I have always just been very upfront online about the pieces of my like daily life. It never occurred to me to be any other way. I don't know how, what else am I even doing on there, but whatever.
Right.
So because my community had demonstrated such like safety and connection for so long, I went back when I was writing. I kept 2 tabs open on my laptop that never closed the whole writing experience. One was Facebook, one was Instagram. Dialed back to 2020. So I'd scrolled, and I found, because some of that was lost later, kind of in a fog.
Right. Yeah.
I went back and found every single thing I said, I wrote, things people said to me, something I was experiencing that very day, and I put it online, and I had forgotten. And so social media acted like a diary for me.
Wow.
It acted like a journal, giving me the pieces back to that horrible portion of the story. And then the side pieces that I kept open, all my emails from that year, all my text history. That's how I went back and also constructed, this is what my dad texted me. This is an email my friend sent me. This is what I had, this written account of every meaningful little tiny piece that got me from here to here. And so, as you know, I included those all verbatim.
Yes.
Like I cut and pasted some of those right into the manuscript. This is exactly what my dad said. This is exactly what Amy said. This is exactly what Laura said. This is exactly what my friend said. And so that turned out to be such a tool for me.
Truly extraordinary. I mean, and I also love that in the audio version of your book that you have everybody's voices actually like speaking in their own voices, which is incredible. But to go back to all of those people who are so important to you, to this story, you have a line that every time I read the book, I underlined and put a heart next to. One at a time, just on time, they keep coming, sunlight making it to the forest floor. And that's about all the people in your life who just keep showing up and cutting through the thicket, the darkness. You talked about your dad. Let's talk about your friends. I mean, that is, I mean, I just, God, what a gift your personal, I mean, your greater community is a gift. I mean, they, because of them, you were able to reconstruct the whole story. So through Facebook and through Instagram and all of that. And what about the people in your own life, these lanterns or you've spoken of them as lanterns or the sunlight coming through to the forest floor. I just want to hear about the role they played for you.
They put on a masterclass on how to love your person, your friend, through their worst moment. And they did it not just, lest anybody think, how can I just make this go away for somebody that I love? How can I solve it for them? How can I, you can do none of that. That is not real. That is not how pain works. That is not how recovery works. And it's not one big grand gesture. It's not like the one thing. Here's the one thing you can do that's going to make the biggest difference. That it is 100 small things strung together that pulls somebody up from the bottom of the ocean floor. And that's what my friends did, 100 small things. And I included them in there. And of course, some of them were grand gestures. But they just all involved nonstop proximity. And when I say that, most of us can come close to somebody in their grief, but that has a time limit. Other people's sadness can absolutely go past the moment it is convenient for the rest of us, right? Like, okay, are we still here? Jesus, like, let's get going. Let's get
moving on.
Moving on. Like, this is kind of a burden for the rest of us. You know, you're kind of a bummer. My people stayed with me the whole time when I was decidedly a bummer and everything about my life was a bummer and I could not smile and I could not find joy. And I was so overwhelmed and scared and catastrophizing every which way on everyone around me and overwhelmed and needing so much help. I remember, because, one piece of my story was having to become financially not just independent, but savvy. And that was just a division of labor in our marriage that I had handed off without any participation from me. And I mean, I remember having to call my friend Jenny and being like, can you teach me how to buy a car? Like I am a 16-year-old girl and she is my mom. I'm like, can you teach me how to buy a car? Like, talk to me like I'm a kindergartner. Like, what's the very first thing you do? Like, I remember calling a friend and saying, talk to me about this, like, taxes on my home. Is this a set amount? Like, these are the things I am having to learn. I'm a drain on everyone around me for whom they're having to answer the most rudimentary questions. And they just stayed and they stuck and they literally loved me back to life. That is no exaggeration.
It is a masterclass. That is
it is
in how to love somebody back to life. Honestly,
It is. It's dedicated to them, the whole book.
I know.
And their names are all in there. And you mentioned this, but for anybody listening to this episode, in the audiobook, I made everyone's life at Avid a living hell because I was like, guys, I have a vision for the audiobook. All these people meant so much to this story and to me. And their words are all included per this whole conversation we just had. Like I literally included their actual words. Can they each individually read their part of the manuscript in which I included something they said to me? Poor Sophie was like,
oh my God,
we can do it. I mean, I think we have 16 different people reading their parts in the book, which meant wrangling 16 people to get a clean audio. These people don't do clean audio. They're normal people. They're like, we don't know how to do. What do you mean? Right. Absolutely. I made that so hard for everybody. And the Avid team was like, we think that this horrible idea is going to be worth it at the end. And it is. It is. The audio really listeners coming in right now telling us they sobbed through hearing my friends and family's voices on that audio saying what they said. I'm like, oh my God, Sophie, I'll buy you a car. Thank you so much for letting them do that.
You won't recognize the car once you've bought it, but you will buy her
a car. I won't. That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut on the manuscript. You're going to have to read it to know what she's talking about.
One of my favorite scenes of all time as a car blind
so true myself. And funny. Let's land this plane. What's the last thing that we want to talk about here on this?
What is?
Because you and I could do this for 100 hours.
Okay, I guess I'll ask a big question, which is like, if a reader walks away with just one truth from Awake, what do you want it to be?
Such a great question. Oh my God, I have so many hopes for what I hope this book becomes in the life of any given reader. If I had to uplink it to one thing that I hope every reader walks away with, it is that I don't care who you are, where you are in your life, what age you are, what environment you are in, how long something has been in place in your life, how deeply your own patterns have gone, how far you have already walked something to the end of the pier. No matter what you have lost or losing, no matter what is changing, regardless, you have the ability, the capacity, and the right to exercise full agency over your life. Your life is not happening to you. You can get yourself out of the passenger seat of your car and slide over to the driver's seat and drive your car. And you should. You should. You are the best source of your own wisdom. You know what you want. You know what to do. You know where you want to go. You know what needs to be done, even if that thing is really, 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 really hard. Even if it is very, 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 very disruptive. Drive your car. Like, you can do it. You are trustworthy. You are good and smart and wise. You are the best leader in your own life, period. You are. So it doesn't matter how long you have let somebody else be in the driver's seat of your own story. If you think my voice has been erased for so long, I don't even have one anymore. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it is not too late to start using it. And that can start today for you. And I do not think it even takes a catastrophe to get there. It kind of did to some degree in my own life, but I don't think we have to experience crisis to finally get out in front of our own story. I think you can just choose it. And if this book helps you choose it before crisis chooses you, I will be so thrilled. But even if you are sitting in the pocket of suffering right now, which so many people are, God, so many of us are, even there and even then, the possibility in front of you is endless. We get to build the rest of our story, no matter what, starting this very second, from this very moment on. We're the architects. So that is not a short answer, but that is what I hope people walk away with. I'm going to say this last thing and then we're closing.
Okay.
I just finished doing the listener submitted voicemail episode for my podcast.
Okay.
Where people can call in and leave a message. And it was all awake centered. And one of the listeners, me and Amy, my podcast partner, were sobbing when we recorded.
I'm like gonna sob already.
We were sobbing. She tells us how much she has been suffering and sunk. And it's so sad. She's like, nobody has known. I've lost 20 pounds. I'm sleeping all day. I've hidden it away from everybody. And she said, I listened to Awake. And she said, at one point, I pressed pause and I picked up my phone and I sent a text to 3 or 4 people who love me so much. And I said, I'm in trouble. I need you. I need help. And she said, one of them was at my home in 30 minutes with dinner and said, take my hand. I'm going to walk you outside. Let's go to the grass. And she said, they just all rushed in. And she goes, I am out of paralysis. I am out of the darkness. I am out of silence and shame. And she goes, I just reached out and went, people love me and I need to let them love me. I was just like, she just chose. She chose a different path. Just like that, on the spot, she decided to let people into her story and let them love her. And they wouldn't have had she not reached for her phone and sent them a text. And I'm like, we have agency. We get to pick the next thing that we do, the next thing that we say, the next way that we respond. So
I'm
a heart.
I am just I want to quote you for the ending, which is you wrote in the very early pages, I was acting purely on intuition, which I figured out later was the most trustworthy character in the play. That is the most trustworthy character in all of our plays, but it takes a long time for us to trust them. Trust it.
Perfect.
But
what a perfect way to end. Thank you. I want to thank you for walking this book into the light of day with me. It was going to take a special person to help me get it right. It was going to take somebody who cares about story, people, readers, and good literature. A lot of people care about some of those things, but not all. Mm-hmm. And you cared about all. And that is the reason that this book is exactly in the shape that it is in the form that it is in, that includes what it includes and left out what it left out. You were, of everybody in the whole world, my closest partner when it came to getting this book on the page. And so thank you for every single second you spent on this book, which was considerable.
Jen,
considerable seconds.
Thank you for writing it, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. And for allowing me to restore my faith in myself, honestly. Thank you.
Love it. Well, let's just enjoy this until we get to the next one, right? Let's enjoy the fruits of the labor for a while. Thank you. Thanks for doing this show with me.
Thank you. It was an honor. Bye.
Perfect. Bye. Perfect. Oh, you're so
Are we
done?
Are we off?
We're done. Okay. We're done. God, you just made that so easy and fun.
You're
I don't even know what any of these questions were. We didn't even.
I
knew we wouldn't need them. But I knew we would just.
They were a great guide. They were an incredible guide, truly. So thank you. Thank you for letting me do it. I really loved it. I don't thank you for asking me about books that I've edited because I do not remember any of them, but I will come up with a list.
That is perfect. Okay. We could just cut that. We'll edit that down so it just
it's fine. It's totally fine.
So reasonable. But yeah, send your list over. We'll absolutely include it that like as a bonus.
Okay.
They will love it.
Okay. Jen, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us for that. I love getting to highlight someone who has meant so much to this book. There just isn't an Awake without Lauren. And so anytime I get to introduce you to someone on this team of people who helped create this moment, this book, and this sort of space it is occupying in the world right now, I'm delighted to do it. And she is as close as another human person could be to this story. So she's fantastic. Also, we are going to include a link with a book recommendation list from Lauren. And believe me, when I tell you she is elegant, and like Margaret said about her, she has good taste. Just consider this your must-read list. Anyway, feel so grateful for her. So grateful. And so grateful for you. I want you to know that I am stunned and overwhelmed by your response to Awake. I have read every comment you have posted, every direct message you have sent. I see what you are writing on your own channels, like on your own socials. I'm floored. I'm floored at what you are doing with it in your own life, how it is informing like your next thing, your next step. I thank you for reading. Thank you for buying it. Thank you for sending copies to the people in your life that you know would love to hear some of these words. It's everything. It's everything. You're everything. It's the best reading community that exists. So I love you so much. And I love you, Lauren. Thank you for being on the show today. And thanks for listening, you guys. And I will see you next week.